Well, first off, again, my name's Greg Erwin. I am co-chair of Eugene 08 with Vin Lananna here. And first off, I wanted to thank you all for coming and being with us for this glorious 10 days that we've had. Thank goodness the weather god shined on us. We are very, very proud and very excited about what has happened here the last 10 days or so. By our estimation, we have really exceeded many of our expectations as far as the way that this event has been embraced by the entire community, the state of Oregon, and by the track and field community throughout this country. So again, we couldn't be more happy about the way this has turned out and the way that you have all embraced it. So again, I'll let Vin make any comments he'd like to make.
Well, I'll be happy to entertain questions after one quick comment as it pertains to the media. And one of the main constituents that we put this meet together for, behind the athletes, of course, and the coaches, was the media. And we had hoped to really create a mixed zone, which was going to be similar to what one would encounter at various Olympic Games, and to create an environment for the athletes so they could prepare for these kinds of opportunities. And none of that would be possible without our competition director, Michael Riley, who really put together the logistics of this vision that many people contributed to, and to our media and marketing people who really did the lion's share of the work. It was a big undertaking, and that group that put together those plans, we believe, did a great job. And so we hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we hope it's been easy for you to do your jobs, because that's how the sport of track and field is going to move forward, with the media support. So we hope that it's been productive for you.
Can you go over the media pool specifics? Like, one thing I was interested in knowing is if you have somebody like Karan Clement, world record holder in the 400 meters, making the team in the hurdles, would there ever be a consideration for somebody like him, or any other hurdler for that matter, racing in the relay, getting in the relay pool? How would that decision be made?
Well, I wouldn't even be in a position to answer that question, because it wouldn't be our decision. It would be the coaches at the Olympic Games. So, well, the question was the expectations that, what expectations do we have for Andrew Wheating coming into this meet? Well, coming into the meet, after he won the Pac-10s, we had very high expectations and high aspirations that he could qualify for our U.S. Olympic team in either the 1500 or the 800. And that was really the challenge and the question of which one to pick. And since Andrew had the A standard in the 800 meters, we chose to, Andrew made that decision to run the 8. It was always left up to him, provided he made the right decision, and it was the 800. What makes Andrew Wheating tick? Well, the reality is that he loves the sport of track and field, loves to compete, and lives in the moment. And those are probably the things that make him be able to perform at the level he's performed this year.
Every 4 years, the American track and field community gets excited and believes that there's going to be some sort of momentum from the trials to hold world-class meets in the United States. What do you think needs to be done so that we can have world-class meets in the United States, other than in Eugene? And when I'm talking about what needs to be done, I'm talking about economically, sponsorship, the whole 9 yards.
Well, it's a good question, and I think the state of Oregon does a phenomenal job at embracing what we are very good at, and that is track and field. And I think that the leadership of USA Track and Field and the USOC needs to get serious about looking at the sport as a professional sport, and one that is a spectator-friendly event, creates schedules which make it exciting. The television and print media needs to embrace it as something which is, instead of apologizing for the fact that the meet's 6 hours, don't have it be 6 hours. And instead of apologizing and concerning itself with doping issues, we need to address those. So I think those are the things that leadership needs to I think they need to address those. And at that point, I think that many cities around the country will want to bid for the Olympic trials. We have to make it a win for all parties, and I think that the fans were treated to something very special this week. The spectators enjoyed it, but more importantly, I think the athletes had a great experience here. We hope they have, and that was our objective when we put this thing together. The question is, can there be opportunities, competitive opportunities in the United States? There'd be no place better to do them than in a place like Eugene, where the weather conditions during the summertime. We need a summer series of meets held in the United States, which rival the meets in Europe.
Can you, I know when you came here, this was part of the vision you had, and I know there were a lot of people who helped you make this happen. But can you just talk a little further about kind of how the reality of this event has met with the vision you initially had?
Well, the number of people who have helped with this meet are too many. There's too many to name. I mean, Greg, who sits to my left here, provided the leadership of the Oregon Track Club to have the guts to put the bid forward. We started out with a small amount of money, $50,000 that we paid for a rights fee that we had to scrape up. And then what we did was we got out on the road and tried to raise the rest of the money to accomplish two really important things. And one was to refurbish Hayward Field, which needed to be done in order for us to put, to have these lights and video board and simultaneous runways, a flat field. We were a crowned infield because they played football here, and then we had to raise all the money for the operating budget, and that was through our sponsorship and marketing committee that put together a very comprehensive plan to raise the somewhere between $8.5 and $10 million for operation.
Can either of you comment if it strikes you that a disproportionate number of athletes from Oregon or the Pacific Northwest made the U.S. team?
Can you speak to that?
The disproportionate number of athletes. I don't really know if that if that's, and I don't know if that's true in the events, but I would say that if an Oregon athlete, if you have a community that understands track and field, which this community does, and you have an Oregon associated person in the event, of course they're going to get a tremendous support. And for those who didn't think so, I think probably asked all three guys who ran the 800 the other night.
Looking at the meet as a whole and looking forward to 2012, is there anything you would do differently coming up in 2012?
Well, I think that the basic template has worked very, very well. I think we would probably not stray too far from what we've created in 2008. There will be obviously some modifications that we will do with the Fan Fest, things that we weren't able to accomplish for various reasons this time around that we would like to try perhaps in 12. But I really don't think, and I can't really speak to the meet operations, that's Vin and Michael's category, but as far as the fan festival and the general ambiance, if it isn't broken, I don't think we want to fix it. So,
I mean, I would respond, I would add to Greg's comments that I think that we have a great template in place. I think there are clearly some scheduling things that we would change in a presentation perspective. And we would probably, I'm sure the challenge ahead for us will be how do we make it better? And we will clearly make 2012 the better than 2008.
Vin, I asked you this before, so the question is, so far, what's been your favorite? Do you have a favorite moment or memory when you knew everything was going well?
you're directing that toward me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've said that there's been two moments for me. I'd have to say my favorite moment has to be the 800, being a local kid myself here, being a Duck. But really the moment that really struck me was actually when I heard that trumpet music the very first time Friday night, and thousands of people were streaming into a beautiful environment, and I really knew that at that time that we were probably in store for a very special week, and it's really turned out that way. So for me, that was the kind of catch my breath moment. So.
Same questions for Vin?
Well, for me, I obviously there are many athletic events out there, and I think the way our athletes have performed in a general sense, they have competed. I watched so many different events where people have gone after the A standard, or have competed for that last spot, or to win the race, or to perform at whatever level they needed to in order the high jump, where people are going after that standard. Those are things that all that atmosphere was great. But for me, the more defining moment, when I came through the magnetometer the first day and I looked at all these people in these green shirts who have spent an entire months and some of them years putting together what they needed to put together for this thing to happen for me, and then watching them still smiling at the end of this thing, that's probably the most defining moment for me.
Hey Vin, before this trial started, you said that when people left, if all they had witnessed was a track meet, you would have squandered an opportunity. Do you feel like you've accomplished those other goals that you had in mind, to getting youth involved and on down the line?
Why did I ever say that? No, I do think that, I do think that absolutely. I mean, when you take a look at what's happened, when I walked out there in the festival and I watch thousands of people, and I watch Andrew Weeding, Nick Simmons, and Christian Smith come out on stage, and all of them are in tears, and I'm watching the people in the stands sitting out there in the fan festival in tears. Yeah, I think we've created something really special, and it's something that hopefully, somebody asked about momentum before. Well, this is the momentum we've begun. Now we need to keep rolling with it.
Looking at kind of how you've engaged the larger Eugene Springfield community, the non-ticket holders, do you think, is there anything different you would do in 2012 to bring in more people? And just basically assess what you've done so far.
Well, I think that, like I said, I think the fan festival idea has proven to be successful. And as far as changing it to get more people, I think we'll enhance the festival. We're a little bit limited by geography here, but and I don't think that's really the issue in terms of making it bigger. We would just probably want to try to enhance the experience for the festival goer, the person that doesn't have a ticket. All along, we wanted this to be inclusive. We wanted everyone to be able to feel a part of it. And I think to a large extent that that welcoming environment has been accepted, and many people have come. So again, it's not so much about changing it, it's about enhancing the experience for the festival goers, and we'll definitely do that in 12.
For Ben, this is about your sophomore class, AJ, Andy, Nicole, Ashton. 2010, obviously a big year for them in a couple of years, showcasing their talents now. Can you just talk about what they've accomplished so far, kind of setting the stage for a couple of years, and then also 2012?
Well, I think that anytime you get an opportunity to compete at the Olympic trials and understand what that's all about, take a look at the competition, run through the routine, it's a whole lot easier next time around. And we're looking actually to 2009 and seeing if we can put a couple of those athletes when we host the U.S. Nationals, which serves the trials for the World Championships in Berlin. We hope to be able to place a couple of those athletes on the team. They've had great years, and they've culminated in great experiences here, and we hope to be able to capitalize that as we come back here in 9, then the NCAAs in 10, the U.S. Nationals in 11, and then to hit the jackpot in 12.